To conclude this episode, I would like to talk about what you do if you have a problem that has lots of different operation in the problem together. A problem that has addition and subtraction and multiplication and division and maybe some exponents as well. Now, to give you an example of why we need to agree upon how to calculate expressions that contain multiple operations. Every once in a while on Twitter or Facebook or something, some math equation will go viral. Because, for example, here, if you have 6 divided by 2 multiplied by 1 plus 2, there are 1, 2, 3 different operations in this picture. This division, this multiplication, and this addition. And the question is, of those 3 operations, which one do you do first? Do you add first? Do you divide first? Do you multiply first? Which one do you do second? And which one do you do last? Depending on the order in which you calculate these operations, you can get vastly different results. This original poster has obviously gotten 7, but if you look at some of the replies on Twitter, or I guess it's called X now, you will see people getting all kinds of other results. For example, some other people got 9, and so on and so forth. Now, the order of operations that we agreed to use is represented by the acronym called PEMDAS. And if I am writing this acronym by hand, instead of typing it out, I will write it like this: PE and then M and D on top of each other, and then A and S on top of each other, PEMDAS. The P here stands for parentheses. The E stands for exponent. The M is for multiplication. The D is for division. The A is for addition. And the S is for subtraction. PEMDAS, PEMDAS, or some people might also use the memory aid. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I don't know what Aunt Sally is up to, but we got to make sure that she is excused. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, PEMDS. What PEMDAS is saying is that if you're dealing with a calculation that has a bunch of different operations in it, the very first thing that you do is you complete any operations that are inside parentheses. Then do all the exponents. Then do all of the multiplication and division, moving from left to right. Finally, do all of the addition and subtraction, again moving from left to right. PEMDAS, parentheses first, then exponents, then multiplication division, then addition subtraction. This is the order in which we do operations if there's more than one operation in your problem. So let's do some examples. Someone says to me, 3 plus 2 minus 4 plus 6. So this contains a combination of addition and subtraction. Since I only have addition and subtraction, all I would have to do is move through this equation from left to right and complete all of these operations one by one. So the first thing that I would do is what's 3 plus 2? 3 plus 2 is 5. Then I would say, what's 5 minus 4? 5 take away 4 leaves you with 1 remaining. And then what's 1 plus 6? 1 plus 6 leaves you with 7. So the result of this combination of operations would be 7 units. All right, what about this one? So here I have 10 times 2 plus 1. PEMDAS says that if you have multiplication and addition, you want to make sure to do all your multiplication first. So the first thing that I'm going to do is do 10 times 2. And once I've found the result of that, the result being 20, I'm going to add 1 to that result. Result, 21 units. Now, look down here at 3. Here I have a combination of multiplication and subtraction. This is 5 times, and in parentheses, 3 minus 2. PEMDAS says that the first thing that you want to do is any operations inside the parentheses. So because 3 minus 2 is inside parentheses, that's going to be the very first operation I complete. 3 take away 2 results in 1. Then I'm going to take 5 times 1. If you multiply a number by 1, you just get the same number back. Now you can also have a more complicated sort of nesting of multiple parentheses and brackets. So here I have 2 times parentheses 5 plus 3, parentheses 4 minus 1. So I have a sort of outer set of parentheses that are a little bit more squared off. And then inside of that, I have even more parentheses inside of that. If you have multiple sets of parentheses like this, where one is inside of the other, start with the parentheses on the inside first. So my innermost parentheses contain the operation 4 minus 1. So that's the first operation I'm going to complete. Now I'm going to work inside of these brackets, these square parentheses, and I am going to complete the operation inside the parentheses, again using PEMDAS. And PEMDAS says you've got multiplication and addition happening inside of those brackets. So do the multiplication first. And I get 2 times 5 plus 3 times 3, 3 times 3 being 9. So now, using PEMDAS again, I want to complete this addition inside the parentheses. So I get 2 times 5 minus 9, 5 plus 9, giving me a result of 14. And then finally, all that's left is this multiplication. 2 times 14, giving me a result of 28. Now, I want to point out a couple of situations where you do not see parentheses symbols, but parentheses are kind of understood or implied when you're doing order of operations. And the first special situation where parentheses are not visible, but you should understand parentheses to be there, is that if you have an exponent that has a bunch of stuff going on in that, you should understand everything happening inside of an exponent as being in parentheses. So you should understand something like this, 2 plus 3 to the power 4 minus 2 as having sort of hidden parentheses around the exponent. Because when I go to calculate this, the first thing that I want to do is simplify this, is perform this subtraction in the exponent. And the first thing that I want to do is find out what is 4 take away 2. 4 take away 2 in the exponent leaves you 2 in that exponent. So here I have 2 plus 3 squared. So now that I've completed the hidden parentheses in PEMDAS, the next thing that I will do is I will complete this exponent, the e in PEMDAS. So I get 2 plus 3 times 3, 2 plus 3 squared, 2 plus 9. And the result of that will be 11 units. So if you have a bunch going on in the exponent of a number, then complete whatever operations are in that exponent. Do that first. The other situation where you don't actually see parentheses, but they're understood to be there as far as PEMDAS is concerned, is when you're doing division. For example, if someone says, I have 3 plus 9, and all of that is over a gigantic horizontal bar with 4 underneath, what they want you to do is to complete all of the operations above the bar and below the bar. So even though I cannot see parentheses here, you should understand that everything on top of the bar is inside hidden parentheses, and you should complete that operation first. So 3 plus 9 would give us 12 at the top of the bar, and 12 divided by 4 would be 3 units. So 3 would be my answer to this question. It's also true if you have a bunch of stuff underneath the bar. If I have 16 and then a gigantic bar and then 2 plus 2 underneath, you should understand that there are hidden parentheses containing this addition underneath the bar. And I should calculate this operation underneath the bar before I do anything else. 16 divided by 4, result 4. As well, if you have a bunch of stuff in the top and in the bottom, then you should understand both of those quantities as being in parentheses, and both of those quantities as things that you should calculate separately before doing anything else. So in the top of the bar, I have 5 plus 1, which gives me 6. Below the bar, I have 2 plus 1, which gives me 3. And 6 divided by 3 would give me a result of 2. So that is how I would calculate something like this, 5 plus 1 over 2 plus 1. That would be 2 as the result.